Okay, so I just recorded a live stream and it got screwed over because someone called his phone and it messed it up. Anyways, Goku was revealed to have a new form today in this video with Geekdom. I watched it. Somebody in the comment section said, I'm tired of these forms. Other people came after them over saying that. And, they were called a whiner and a fanboy and all the other nonsensical terms. And it reminded me of when I went on one of his videos and was referred to by a racial slur and called out my name as well, just for saying I'm tired of these transformations. That's all I said, and I was besmirched over it. I have a problem with this form because it goes and takes everything I've disliked about Super and applies it to one. The first of which being that it comes out of nowhere. During this whole arc, we've literally barely seen Goku train at all. Um, it's another transformation that I just think doesn't help the story. If the story of this show and of everything since the Boo arc of Z has been, oh, new transformation to beat the new bad guy. Um, and I actually had one of the people say, oh well, Dragon Ball's always been about getting stronger. But if you actually look at this arc, 17 came back and he's much stronger than he was before, and he doesn't have a new form. So we know that's a load of baloney. And then the other problem is if I say what I'm saying now, they'll say, "Oh, you're only disliking this because you love Z in the original series so much because you're nostalgic for it." Even though I didn't see most of the original series until about 2 or 3 years ago, but nonetheless, still say that's nostalgia. 600 days passed, and now I'm suddenly a hater of the new show. Also the fact that it's being applied to Goku, which I felt this series has just been, a lighter version of GT when it comes to focusing on him, with the exception of the Future Trunks arc. Mainly because of the fact that every time there seems to be any development within the story, it has to do with him. He officiates this tournament. He goes around recruiting people. The tournament starts. He's the one who's confronted by all these different villains. He has this subplot with Kale and Khalifa. And it doesn't have to be that way. It could have been Gohan that, went and recruited people while he trained and trained and trained for this form. So then the form would actually have build up and would actually kind of pay off in a way, but that makes too much sense. Then you have these fans who, for some reason, get upset anytime you say something. Even you could just say I'm tired of these transformations, and they proceed to insult you and get angry and act as if we're talking about religion or politics when this is just a children's cartoon. That's why I don't get upset about it. I only say what I say because I actually want it to be better. I could concede this arc has been the best out of everything in this series so far, but that still isn't saying much. Um, you know, so the other issue I have in regards to this arc, yeah, I got someone asking me if that's the new form. Unfortunately, it is. I'm gonna respond to him in a few minutes when this is over. So, you look at this whole series, and people will say, "Oh, the show's always been about Goku," and I always will express my grievances about that. To what extent do you focus on that character? But nonetheless, everything that people are using to defend this form, whether it be, he needs to get stronger, so he needs a new form. That's a little crap. We have other characters that have been stronger without forms. This is only being created for marketing purposes. It's only being created to be put in games. It's only being created to appease fans who just want to see his hair turn all kind of different colors and get mixed up and everything. It actually kind of reminds me of a Naruto form because the eyes are the only difference. But nonetheless, they're not going to pay attention to what I have to say, and they're going to keep justifying it themselves. Look, I'm not trying to say don't watch the series, don't try to hope it gets better, but you have to at some point be able to cut off your fan viewpoint, because we're going to have biased views of things if we're fans of it. That's just how life works. I would still say that the Cell arc is the best arc of Z because I'm a fan of that arc over the other ones. That doesn't mean the other ones are terrible to me. Every arc of Z I'd rather watch over Super or GT, everything that came after it. But nonetheless, the people, really, it's not the form itself that's so bothersome to me because we kind of expected it. It's the people who have been getting so upset at those who disagree with their way of viewing things. The last time I was called any type of name, it was over something political. It was over something religious. It was over something that actually mattered to people's lives. You don't need to attack another person over a cartoon created by some guys that are going to get paid cash while you sit there on your computer screen and watch their little, poorly composed story. And that's really what is the issue I have, is that people are almost so, just, I don't want to say thirsty, but they want something new Dragon Ball related so bad they'll take anything. And I'm not, trying to say, oh, you can't be a fan of something, but you know, the ones who go after me for, saying I have a different opinion, that's not being a fan. That's just being really nasty to another person for no reason. I'm not the first person who didn't like your show. I'm not the first person who didn't like a certain aspect of it. Because I give it constructive criticism and say, I like this arc the most. Here's how it could have been done better. You're still going to come after me over it. And keep in mind, they knew they were going to put this in here, but it's going to come out of nowhere, like, the other ones, with the exception of Super Saiyan God. Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan came out of nowhere. That thing was just showed up. And that's really my problem, that every time, I guess the way I could look at it is, this is doing more of what bothers me about this show, where it gives Goku another form to put him further and further up and keep all the characters down, down, down. And you don't need to do that to have a good story. It's not rocket science on how to just do something well. You look at the first arc of Z, with the first battle of Z, actually, Goku and Piccolo versus Raditz. They were both weaker than Raditz. They had a technique where one grabbed Raditz, the other one used the beam, and it went through and they beat the villain. You look at, everybody versus Frieza ahead of Goku getting the Super Saiyan transformation. Yeah, it was about who was stronger for a while, but the Spirit Bomb was their way of going about things. It's not hard to write a story that is not so predictable, in the sense of, oh, how are we going to beat the new villain? Just get a new form. How are we going to beat the villain? Just make your hair go another color, or get longer, or, do whatever to it. I just think that's lazy storytelling. I think the fans are allowing it, and I think the people who get upset that I feel that way really, need to get over this cartoon and not think of it as what makes a person good or bad, because, I wouldn't have been called any of those names if I didn't express that opinion. Because I expressed the opinion, I'm the antithesis of what a true fan is, apparently. I have to go along with everything, have no gripes or complaints. And again, I'm saying things constructively, where I'm giving feedback on what I like, feedback on what I didn't like, in the hopes it improves. What more do you want from me? Oh, that's right, blind cooperation.